Welcome to Rom Wills Money Matters. Don't make money for status. Don't make money for status, Don't get caught up with keeping up with the Joneses. And this is connected with what I was talking about yesterday, living below your means. Many people make money, particularly, I'm going to tell you what, that's the real thing with the middle class. That's the real thing with the middle class, because the middle class could probably go to a higher level. Now, remember, I talked about the financial houses, and a mentor that I've talked about on my other channels, he actually calls it the house of money. See, the thing is, if you really want to make money, you need to be putting money into income producing assets. Some type of business, certain stocks, videos, social media videos, the creative economy. Let me talk about that for a second. And I've talked about this before. Think about the beauty of videos. They're like stock that keeps going. I'm making money off of videos I did 5 years ago. I'm still making money, and I got videos I'm making a few pennies on every day. But after a while, when you got several thousand videos, all of that adds up. But that's an income producing asset. You should be putting money into that. But see, what many people do, particularly the middle class, they don't put it into income producing assets. They make a certain amount of money. What they do, they run out and get that little fancy car. I see a lot of middle class people driving those BMWs, Porsches and everything. And you can almost, trust me, I would probably need to have some serious visuals. You can tell they're middle class. You can tell they're middle class. Because just where they at, where the car's at, everything. And there's nothing wrong with being middle class, but that's more of a status thing. Because you got a lot of people, when they driving that fancy car and everything, that's more about status with most people. Most. There's some people who get like a fancy, they get a Corvette or, high-end car just because they like to drive. But let's be real, most of them are not driving those cars on an everyday basis. A lot of people getting it just to say they have it. Yeah, they got a BMW, got a Mercedes. When, let's just be real, a Chevy or a Toyota get them to the same places anyway. And I remember even about a Toyota, because, some people get a Lexus for status. But someone said a Lexus is just a souped up Camry. But whatever the case. Now, I'm saying this, the car thing, I'm saying this is somebody, I actually want to get a more high-end car. I could probably get it now, but I'm living below my means. But when I'm still below my means can get it, I might get one, but actually just to drive. I actually just like to drive. But even then, I wouldn't get it for status, and I wouldn't let people know I have it. It's just purely for driving. But that's the thing. People will make money to get that expensive car, and indeed, in the middle class, they'll get the boat. I talked about that before. They might get a boat knowing they only use it twice a year, just to say they have a boat. Or they'll fix up some, or really fix up some around their house more for status. Like maybe the outside, which was looking good anyway, but they say, nah, we got to look good. Like we got this status and everything. And the problem with status is you're trying to impress other people, but these people don't know you. These people don't know you. See, the thing is, you don't want to use money to impress people. You want to use money to impress yourself. Let me use the car example, the fancy car thing. I would get a high-end car and I wouldn't let y'all know. Y'all wouldn't know it, because I would keep the more regular car, and I'll still drive around and do videos in them, and I'll still take care of business. The other car, I would keep that in a special storage area and just have that for my enjoyment. I would just hit the highway or something, just drive around, do little places just purely for my enjoyment. I wouldn't go regular shopping with it, because it wouldn't be for the status. Y'all wouldn't know I had it. See, a lot of people, they'll pay stuff and then let people go, well, I got this, I got that. I first saw that when I started living with my grandmother back when I was 12 years old. And this, before I lived in a poor neighborhood, this was more young professional type of neighborhood, like young couples and everything. My grandmother stood out because she already had a lot of stuff. Indeed, it was funny when she moved in, she had all this stuff, had 2 moving trucks. We had like we had a street council type of thing. And, you know, we had meetings. Everybody came and wanted to see what she had in the house. But I learned about that. And then people talking about who had the greenest grass. And I was just like, really? You know, because people were worried about it. You know, in the black community, they would call it those bougie people. You know, it's like bougie folks. They always want to show that they have this. I got this. I shop here. I remember it was a big deal, like back in PG County in DC, when it was a predominant, like PG County, anybody know, it's probably it's the richest majority black county in the United States. And I remember it was a big deal made, there were no high-end stores in that county. It was a big deal. People were actually complaining. There wasn't a Macy's. There wasn't a Macy's. Until Macy's took over some local department stores there, and all of a sudden there's a Macy's. I'm like, okay, there wasn't a Macy's, drive someplace else. Just to shop there, and not to go in against it, but Macy's is like middle of the road to me. But don't ask why I say that. But my point is, people worried about that status or getting stuff from certain places. That's status. Don't worry about that. Like I say, when I'm shopping, y'all see me in the polos, y'all see me in the nice stuff. I always get them at outlets. I always get them at outlets. And sometimes at outlets you can get something that's like in season, depending on where you go. I get them at, because I say I'm not paying even regular sale price they have in department stores and everything. But see, somebody worried about status, they'll say, I paid full price for this. For what? For what? You know, when you're making that money, see, understand what money is for. Money is a tool to move in this world. And we just got to that point. We want to eat. We want to sleep. We want to clothe ourselves. Most of us have to use money to buy it. That's how it's set up. You use that. Money should be used to make your life better. Not for status, not to impress somebody. Because the thing with status, once you get caught up in trying to impress people, you got to do it. You know, you got to get the latest smartphone. You have to, you know, because even the smartphone I have, the one that's controlling this camera right now, I ain't get that for status. I got that for business. I got that for business. You want to use money. You want to use money to make more money, and then that money to live a comfortable life. Like I say, there's nothing wrong with getting like the fancy car or a big mini mansion if it's helping you to live a life, but don't get it to impress people. You know, I remember when I was living in DC in Fort Washington, Maryland, and there's a lot, anybody familiar with it, there's a lot of little mansions there. There's some mini mansions, but I remember talking with this man who, he was a contractor, and he said, yeah, they got those big houses, but they can't afford to fix a leak in the roof. And the houses are empty of furniture. But they got it for status. So they spending all that money, but you can't repair it. See, you want to make money to live well, and you got a home. You want to be able to say, oh, leaky roof, let me call somebody real quick. Hell, you want to make that. You want to live better. Don't worry about the status. Getting back to, I mentioned like the whole thing about millionaires living next door in the previous episode. They not worried. Ironically, they got to be millionaires. They weren't worried about status. They lived below their means. They didn't try to impress people. Like like you get the celebrity millionaires. Oh, they got to have the bling and all of that. But a regular millionaire, shoot, they might shop wherever. I have a good friend. Her husband, he's well in his 6 figures, maybe making $500,000. She said he wears the most plainest clothes. He don't wear labels. Her son is making great money too. He don't wear labels. And I've actually met both of them, and you wouldn't think either one is making money, but both are 6 figures. Her husband and her son are 6 figures. But if you saw them walking around or what they driving in, you wouldn't think so. So, you know, when you make money, you just use it to live a better life. All right. So anyway, that's all I have for today. Y'all know the deal. And make this money, hey, make this money to live better, not for status. But let's go make that money.